Phil, thanks for joining us. All right. We will get to questions to help maximize our time. If you have a question for Phil, raise your hand. We'll work to get a microphone to you. We're going to start up front with Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. All four crew chiefs, you're the only one who's never been here before. What's it feel like for you kind of going through this experience for the first time? Is it just a normal race weekend in a lot of respects for you?
Yeah, a little bit of both. It's really exciting. Obviously, we work essentially our whole lives or careers to be here, so that feels good, but try to treat it as just any other race weekend. For us, the goals are all the same. We want to show up and be the fastest and win the race. So in that regard, it's very similar to every other week. I have been in the Final Four as a race engineer before, so have a little bit of experience. Generally, no. I feel like I'm pretty good at managing stress and managing, what, people from the outside are saying. And largely the stress that people talk about is something they create, something they allow to affect themselves. And for me, I just take it one step at a time and look at the situation, the information in front of me, and do the best we can with what we got.
All right, we're going to go to Claire.
Claire B, Sirius XM. So talk about qualifying. And you guys were really fast in practice, but talk about the speed in qualifying and what qualifying will be like here and your thoughts about how important it is and the qualifying.
Yeah, obviously qualifying is important every week. Fortunately, this week the championship 5 are picking pits first 5, so that ensures us a good stall selection. I don't want to downplay the value of qualifying, but that's part of it. And largely this Phoenix race for the championship 4 is a little bit different strategically in that, it's winner take all. So we take, we're going to use the first half, the first 2/3 of the race to put ourselves in position to win. Whereas on a normal week, we've got to worry about stage points and how we are running earlier in the race. So, if a championship driver qualifies in the teens, I don't think it's a deal breaker for him by any means.
And when you look at practice, can you summarize or sense your Final Four competitors, or is it pretty hard to tell until you get past the qualifying and into the race?
Yeah, I think I'll probably reserve judgment till Sunday. Obviously, the Final Four are here for a reason, and I was just in here a minute ago when Adam was speaking, and I have no doubt that they're going to make good headway over the course of the next couple of days, and I would expect all 5 championship drivers to be fast on Sunday.
All right, we're going to go to Dustin and then Bob.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Phil, okay, so you've had your practice session. So what's the rest of the night like? What's your focus? What's the process for you? Looking at tomorrow, or how much are you looking at Sunday as opposed to tomorrow at this point?
Yeah, a little bit of both. So process directly after practice, we'll do a debrief with the driver. That's what I just left. After I get back, I'll do a debrief with the engineers, and we'll take a look at how the practice went, the balance, the speed, identify where the shortcomings are, and figure out from a setup perspective what we want to change going into tomorrow. That's probably our first, or going into Sunday for race trim. That's our first objective. We did do a mock run at the end of practice, so we have a little bit of information about how qualifying trim needs to be for setup wise. And after we get our race trim setup figured out, then we'll apply the qualifying adjustments to that.
How do you feel after practice tonight? I mean, I know obviously P1 is better than P21, but how do you look at it with the things and the debriefing and all the data? I mean, where do you feel like you guys are at this point?
Yeah, obviously being fastest is encouraging. Certainly some opportunity to improve. Our short run speed is good. Our mid run speed probably could use a little bit. And that's where we'll focus our efforts tonight, on just keeping the car better longer.
All right, Bob, go ahead.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. In your meetings with Ross this week, did you ask him that if he had any plans, if he needed a spot in the last lap, if he could let you know what his move is before, so that you're not as surprised as you were last week?
The answer is no. We haven't discussed any type of moves like that again, and frankly, we hadn't discussed one before Martinsville either. So I don't know where he stands on that. I speculate that Phoenix is probably a place where it's not going to work near as well as it did at Martinsville. You know, if you look at the shape of the track, the distance the cars are from the wall, and how fast the cars are going, I don't think that you would see that huge change in lap time like you did at Martinsville.
All right, we're going to go Kelly, Zach, and we'll end with Lee.
Kelly Crano, Racer.com. Following up on Martinsville, the way in which Ross did what he did to get you all here, what has it been like for you, the team, the organization this week of that excitement and just having this opportunity?
Yeah, it's probably a good example of the whole team. You know, we never give up. There's always fight in us, and Ross, like the rest of us, are always willing to explore things that are a little unorthodox. And in that moment, I mean, that was incredible. It never crossed my mind. We hadn't spoken about it before, but he's always thinking outside the box. And in that moment, he knows that he needs a Hail Mary, and he threw one, and man, it was something special.
Justin said earlier this week it was almost like kind of a needed adrenaline booster, or it's something that is going to, again, propel this team forward to not so much think about the pressure of this weekend because everybody's riding that excitement, and that there's not a person on this team now that won't do anything that Ross Chastain asks of them after that. Do you agree?
Yeah, you know, I would agree in the sense that, you know, making the Final Four is you know, everybody gets excited about making the Final Four. The move was incredible. I think we all spent a good couple of days just watching and rewatching it. And like I said, it's a testament to him and his willingness to do what it takes. And, you know, certainly it has, you know, the team looks at that and says, man, this guy's willing to do what it takes. And I don't think that's unlike the rest of our guys. He just thought out of the box and did something we haven't seen before.
And lastly, how do you balance, again, the emotions of this weekend? Because you said you want to treat it like it's any other race weekend. But again, you as the leader of this team, just keeping everybody in check of do your jobs and don't let the moment get too big. But at the same time, everybody probably wants to be excited to be here, right?
Yeah, and I think there's a difference between, you know, excitement and not executing like we do every other week. I've got a good group of veteran guys, and I think they can manage that pretty well.
All right, Zach, and then we'll end with Kelly. Go ahead. Kelly. Zach, and then we'll end with Lee. Go ahead, Zach.
Zach Sterniel with NASCAR.com. Phil, when Ross got to the garage stall, fans are cheering for him, chanting his name. I'm curious. And then you guys hit the racetrack and go P1. So what was just the vibe in the garage tonight as you're getting this car on the racetrack for the first time?
Yeah, the vibe was great. A lot of excitement. You know, a lot of people around. It felt really good to have a 50-minute practice. You know, we'd been a couple years now with pretty limited practice, and most of us, most of us remember, you know, 3, 4, 5 years ago or longer than that ago when it was, you know, 4.5 hours of practice and 7 sets of tires, and a lot of us get excited for the extra practice. So there was the good vibe in the garage today.
And then you guys were second here in the spring, same tire if I'm not mistaken. So does that matter, being that was so long ago?
It certainly helps being on the same tire. We've run this tire at a couple of the other short tracks as well. It helps us establish some trends and some on performance and on durability side. You know, Phoenix 1 was pretty early on in the next gen life, and we've learned a lot since then. So what we have today is not very similar to what we brought in the spring, but you know, we feel like we've learned a lot over the course of the summer, and we've applied all that.
All right, Lee, go ahead.
Ross said yesterday that he was disappointed he didn't make the playoffs last year. You guys finished 20th. How do you go from finishing 20th to finishing, you know, in the top 4, which, you know, your worst finish will be 4th on Sunday, right? But how do you go from 20th to 4th in a year? I mean, clearly you changed the name of the building, but there was, you know, a lot more that took place.
Yeah, you know, a lot of it's attributed to the next gen platform. You know, now different than in the past, enormous engineering budgets can't overcome, you know, groups of people that work together well, that execute every week that understand the fundamentals and just establish consistency. That's the biggest difference.
And I was told that, of all the Ganassi employees, like 80%, 90% bought into, the new ownership and decided to stay. And you pretty much weeded out the people that just didn't believe. Does just having that positive mentality going forward also help, just the organization as a whole?
Oh, absolutely. We don't have to get bogged down during the week with naysayers and people within the company that don't believe. So we get to focus solely on our goals of bringing the best race cars to the week, bringing the best race cars to the track every weekend and winning races. And that's across the board, whether it's pit crew, shop mechanics, management, road crews. That's refreshing.
All right, Phil, thanks for coming in and spending some time with us. We wish you the best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.